Greetings. I am Elizabeth, Queen of England. It is a great pleasure to be your examiner for the IELTS test today. What is your full name?
My name's IELTS.EZ.
Where are you from?
I come from Lạng City.
Do you work or study?
I am a freelancer at the moment. I work for various companies from all corners of Vietnam, and I'm able to do so thanks to the internet.
Let's talk about weather. What's the weather like in your hometown?
My hometown is situated in a mountainous area, so it is cold all year round. It gets as cold as 5 degrees Celsius during the winter, and our summer is relatively warm, around 25 degrees.
Would you say the weather in your hometown is good or bad?
I would say that the weather is very undesirable for me. I'm not really fond of the cold weather, and I get sore throat very frequently when it's windy.
Do you often talk about weather with your friends?
I never talk about weather with my friends unless we run out of topics to talk about, which we don't. And I also think chatting about weather is extremely boring.
Let's talk about clothes. What clothes do you usually wear?
I normally wear light and comfortable clothes, and I'm very proud of my well-built body, so I often wear slim-fit t-shirts or tank tops to show off my muscles.
Do you think you'll change your preferences in clothes in the future?
Yes, certainly. People's taste in fashion changes all the time, and I'll need to adapt to that to appear trendy.
Do you spend a lot of money on clothes?
I would say that I spend a reasonable amount of money on my appearance, although I do have the need to keep up with the latest trend. I normally spend money on other necessities, such as education or entertainment.
Would you say people spend too much on clothes nowadays?
I would say yes, people are overspending with clothing. Many people that I know spend a large proportion of their income on expensive pieces of clothing. They do that mainly to show off that they belong to a higher class in the society, and I just think it is a total waste of money.
Okay, let's move on to part 2. Describe something interesting you learned from the internet. You should say what you learnt, what website you learned it from, how you learned it, and explain why you think it was interesting.
Around 2 weeks ago, I came across a channel on YouTube, which is about cooking, and I've learned how to cook a very special dish thanks to that channel. This channel has a very catchy name, Cooking with Dog, and it is of Japanese origin. The way they present the steps are very funny, but at the same time quite easy to follow. The videos always feature a hostess that looks like a kind-hearted housewife who's in her mid-40s, and a very cute dog that just acts as an additional feature to the channel. So the dish I was talking about is called nigiri sushi, which is a well-known dish not only in Japan, but also all over the world. It has many variations in each country, of course, but this version is the most authentic one, as it was demonstrated by Japanese people, and that's the main reason why I loved it so much. There are a number of different raw ingredients required for this dish, and most of them are raw seafood, such as octopus, salmon and seaweed. The hostess quickly guided me on how to chop things to pieces the right way, how the seasonings are used to enhance the flavour, so on and so forth. And after just 5 minutes of watching the video, I have mastered the techniques that are required to prepare this dish. And afterwards, I decided to try it out with my family, and they all stood up, applauded loudly and burst out in tears with the mouth-watering sushi dish I prepared for them. And I have been revisiting this channel to look for delicious recipes ever since I discovered it. I would highly recommend this interesting channel to people that love Japanese cuisine, or sushi in particular.
How has the internet changed your country?
Well, it has altered the face of my country in various ways. In terms of education, the internet has allowed us to access a gigantic and massive source of information. Many schools in my country are now utilizing internet as a main method of delivering their lectures, and so do the language centers. Also, thanks to the internet, people now have very convenient access to news and media, which makes them become more aware of national and international affairs. And it is certainly right to say that social media such as Facebook helps bring us together and connects us to the other parts of the world. There are so many other aspects of the country that have been significantly changed by the internet. And I would say that most of them are very positive and beneficial to the development of the country.
What would happen when the internet couldn't work in your country?
In a way, I think it would be a huge disaster if the internet suddenly went down, even for a few minutes. I think the stock market would suffer the most in this scenario because it relies heavily on online trading, and so would most other e-commerce activities. But from another perspective, it might encourage us to socialize and interact with each other in real life, and that sounds like a good thing to me.
Would libraries disappear in the future?
I would say that there'll be much less libraries in the future, and there are two main reasons for this. Firstly, as you can see, the internet has now become a dominant source of information, and it is definitely replacing our real-life libraries. It is not always reliable, but if you know how and where to dig up information, then that is not a problem. It is also quick and convenient. And the second reason is that we are on the edge of many environmental problems, which require us to cut down on the usage of trees and papers. And books are obviously made up of papers and trees. So I think we'll definitely see less libraries in the near future.
What are the benefits of having online libraries?
As libraries are now in digital form, they can be accessed from any electronic device and also from any corner of the world with ease. They are also automatic. That means that we can easily search for books, citations, and various pieces of information with just some simple typing. And then the results are brought to you in mere seconds with thousands of sources to choose from. And also, as I've just told you, having online libraries would certainly be beneficial to our environment, since it saves trees.
Why do young people prefer the internet to books when they want to learn things?
Well, young people like me were born in the era of technology, and apparently we are used to the fact that we're surrounded with electronic devices, such as computers, mobile phones, and e-books, to name but a few. And as I've just told you, tons of information can be accessed on those devices in a flash. So it is just basically more convenient for us to study or learn new things from through the internet.
How do you think of websites like Facebook?
Well, as many other things on the internet, Facebook has many beneficial aspects. The most obvious one is that it acts as a virtual platform for people to share their thoughts, update their life to other people, and interact and socialize with the others on a global scale. So basically what it does is connect and unite people. But it has many downsides as well. The first one is privacy concern, which has become very controversial among many societies. And the second one is that many people have become too addicted and obsessed with online social activities. Well, they have become too addicted to the point that they forget about real-life interaction and real values around them. And I must say that it is a very disturbing phenomenon that needs to be stopped.